Hello, my friends. Welcome back. My name is Mac. You're on the Radventurers channel. We're talking about the war on e-bikes today. That's right. There is a war. There's an ongoing war on e-bikes, and everybody wants to blame e-bikes when in fact it's not. It's e-motos, and we know it. And it's not responsible riders. No, it's stupid kids. Parents who let their stupid kids run wild and unchecked and undisciplined. That's the problem with today's society. Parents who let kids be stupid. Here's a little bit about what's going on. It's interesting. You're going to love this. Check it out, my friends. Oh my goodness.
Auburn city parks are taking a hit, and police say high-powered e-bikes are to blame.
She said high-powered e-bikes are to blame. And it even says use of motorized vehicles prohibited in park. That would be an e-bike. That's garbage, bro. That's garbage. You're having to do that because of other people messing it up for us.
Police say riders are gouging grass fields, and neighbors are worried about safety, accountability, and who will pay for the repairs. Here's Couples Joe Marino with how city officials are now handling the problem.
Auburn takes a lot of pride in its parks, but the growing popularity of e-bikes and e-scooters has encouraged some people to ride these vehicles in places they shouldn't.
Maybe Auburn, Lakeland Hills Park, and Evergreen Park, according to Auburn police, where torn up turf and muddy ruts have become increasingly visible over the past 6 months. This is a bummer, dude. This makes me sad. People who don't care.
Like late October, I think, is when we really began to notice it getting torn up. And then it just got progressively worse.
Lakeland Hills Park is now crisscrossed with muddy tire tracks, and vast sections of grassy areas are shredded, all because of the high-powered versions of electric bikes and scooters.
Okay, at least he said high-powered versions of electric bikes and scooters. They're not blaming it all on regular e-bikes. Class 1, Class 2 goes under 20 miles per hour, right? These, you gotta be like, you know, having a bigger motor to be able to do this kind of stuff. For reals.
It's the electric motorcycles and the Class 3 e-bikes.
Colby Crossley. Officer Colby Crossley. Thank you. Thank you for making that distinction. You are a hero in the e-bike war. You have clearly said, it's not e-bikes, it's the e-motos
That are causing the issues, the ones that have a little more power, get closer to 30 miles an hour.
People who live in the area have confronted those who are responsible.
Okay.
Who they describe as being about middle school aged.
Middle school age. You got middle school people running around with their e-bikes, tearing up parks. For what? You think it's cool? You think it's funny?
They're just, young kids, and they are disrespectful to everybody who tries to stop them.
It's like 10 kids or 5 kids always together, running around this area.
So far, neighbors say they haven't made much.
Look at this. They're just going, like, that's not even a path. They're deliberately riding through the grass to screw it up. They're deliberately pushing dirt off the grass, into the courts, onto the sidewalks. Like, this is uncalled for, dude. This is an example of dumb middle schoolers with parents who don't teach them the values of respect in general. Back in my day, if a stranger came up to me and told me to knock it off, I'd be kind of scared because a stranger's talking to me, telling me I'm doing something wrong, I should stop. Back then, yeah, I'd be like, sorry, bro, my bad. And then I'd try to get away. And I'd never do it again. But no, kids today have no idea about consequences for their actions. Clearly, because they don't fear anything, because nothing bad has happened to them yet. You got to smack them in the face with laws, not with physical force. No, that's abuse. You got to smack them in the face with some consequences.
Much headway convincing these young people to steer clear of the more fragile sections of city parks.
And my wife said, your parents are going to be responsible for all of this if you get caught. And they said, we don't care. And she said, well, the police will care. And they said, well, we'll outrun the police.
For now, the city...
Your parents are going to get in a lot of trouble. We don't care. And that one lady, the Asian lady, said, oh, yeah, it's the same group, 5 to 10 kids running around. I say we find out where those kids live and tell their parents, hey, your kids are trashing the park. You got to do something about that. You need to smack them around with some consequences. Don't abuse them because, you get in trouble for that. Smack them around with some discipline. I don't know. I'm all about smacking people around, though.
The city is installing new fencing so people on those high-powered e-bikes can't cut across grassy fields, as well as signs to discourage them from riding through these areas.
I think it's just kids looking for a place to ride their bikes, and I get that for sure, but it's causing a lot of damage.
It's not a place for kids looking to ride their bikes, especially if they're being disrespectful. All right? If any young punk disrespected me while I was telling him to knock some stuff off, oh, dude, I'd give him a good talking. Like, you got to talk to kids differently these days. You gotta beat them down with words, make them feel stupid. That's how you win against dumb kids. You use words and you blow up their mind with words. God, this is stupid. I can't even believe I'm watching this video. This just makes me so mad.
Joel Marino, Cuomo News.
Auburn city officials say it's only the hefty versions of electric bikes and scooters that are banned from city parks. Violators could face a civil infraction and be on the hook for the cost of any repairs.
As they should. And I'm glad that they made a little distinguishing factor there. That these are the heavy duty bikes, the fast ones. They're not really saying it, though. They need to come out and say, e-bikes are fine. E-motorcycles are fine. But when you put dumb kids on any of those things who violate the law and don't care, no longer fine. They need to be fined. Ugh. My name is Mac. Welcome back to the Radventurers. I hope things are going better for you. Stay rad, my friends. Cheers.